So I made a 3D endless runner game inside Godot engine, and I'm going to be doing a very detailed breakdown of the entire game. So I know that people have been waiting for this video for a very long time, so I'm going to be doing that in this video. And the step-by-step that I took to be able to do all these things, and I'll be making this code completely free for anyone that wants to be able to learn how to do that. So how about that? So if you want to support me, just go to each and support me on my Sailor account, where you can be able to show me love and support whatever I'm doing, so that you can help me to be able to create more contents like this. So if you appreciate my work, go to those links in the description and go there to support me in every way that you can. So let's go into the video. So right now here we'll have the main scene, and in this main scene here you're going to see several things. Some of these things are coming from other scenes that I actually instantiated here. So first, let's talk about the character itself. I downloaded this character from mixamo.com, and I had to now repaint the textures for this character. It's actually something I did right inside Blender. So if you look at Blender here, you see everything was done inside Blender. I had to remove some things from the character to be able to actually make it unique. So that's how I use texture painting for that. If you use texture painting, you can repaint the texture to whatever you want it to be. So going ahead, let's go first to the control for the character itself. So we'll have the character here. I'm going to open up the character. I opened up the character here, and you see we have the code here. So the first thing here, we'll have the active or the animation. We're setting it active. And then we imported that, and we're able to use the process, and then we'll have a sequence, and the sequence controls this animation here is a run animation. That's the one. So if you go into the animation tree, you'll be able to see an animation play. You'll be able to see all the different animations that were imported. This is basically the code for the character movement. So we'll have the UI left that makes it move left. So we'll have the UI right that makes it to be able to move towards the right, and then also make sure it's colliding so it doesn't pass through things. This is what makes it to be able to collide with objects and not allow it to pass through. So right now we'll have it's on the floor. So if I get this, it's going to check whether it's on the floor, and then it's going to check whether you press the up arrow. So if you just press it, not press, but just press, so you can be able to jump. And then you'll have the gravity here, be multiplied, and then it controls the translate, because we didn't translate to actually move it up or down or left or right. So we'll have the translate here, and then we'll have the move and slide, and then the set plane. So that's for the characters to be able to create the endless movement of this bridge. So the first thing I did was that I noticed that before it spawns, it takes some time. So I had to put this first bridge. So this first bridge is actually from another scene, so where I have the bridge here. So but the main bridge is actually just one bridge. So look at it here, just one bridge. I created this using AI. I created this. The first version of this, I made it inside Blender. So but I created this particular one using AI. I brought in the first one. So if you go into this I call it spirit bridge, let's go into the code. So what it does is that once the process starts, it begins to move. So that movement is like it's moving towards the player. That's how it moves. So right here now you have the detector. This one is what deletes it. So you see the bridge detector body entered. So this is what it detects. So it detects the delete bridge. When it does delete bridge, that's how it will check it and then delay for 1 second, and then it will delete that bridge. So this is how we're able to create the thing not having multiple bridges being spawned. So that's the thing that deletes the thing. So if you have it here, so its job is just whenever anything touches it, it deletes that particular thing. So both the bridge and also the other things that have been spawned. So let's go into how these things were spawned. So for the spawning of the bridges, so if you go back to here, you actually see that I have several things here. There are some interesting things I have here. So let me just go to my enemy spawn. So first, okay, let me start with the bridge spawn. What spawns the bridge? So look at this bridge spawn here. So I'm going to just open up the code. So the bridge spawn is somewhere here. So it's, look at it there, just it's invisible, just a node that can spawn things. So it just keeps spawning. So it spawns the bridge. As this bridge is going forward, it's bringing another bridge, and they just keep on moving. Remember, the code we already made it to be able to be moving at a particular direction. So here we'll have the code, and the code is just the same code for spawning. When it's ready, it follows a while loop. You can also use a timer for this. It will actually be more effective, but I decided to use a while loop here. And then it delays 1.8. So I have to actually time this for the best motion. It will instantiate the bridge and then make it as a child. And that's how it spawns those bridges continuously. And as it's spawning the bridge itself is actually moving as each one is coming. And as it's coming, each one is being deleted by the deleter, so that you don't have too many bridges, because it actually lag the system. If you have so many spawn objects in your scene, the player is just here running at one spot while the bridge is actually the thing that is moving. So I have the enemy spawner here. I have the first enemy spawner, the second enemy spawner, the third one here, and I made them to be able to move at different times. So if you actually go into the code, you see that I have the new enemy spawner. Enemy spawner is the code for 3 of them. But see the interesting part now. So when it's ready and the while loop is there, it delays and then it selects between 1 to 3. Okay, so we'll have between 1 to 3. So if you look at this enemy spawners, you have this one, they are the same code for all of them. For all the enemy spawners, they are the same code. So each of them, anyone can easily choose the range he wants to use. All of them. So it delays for any particular amount of time that it likely takes, 1 or 2 or 3, and then it instantiates and then gets as a child. It spawns it. Okay, but make sure one of the key things you have to pay attention to is that the node that has the code on it should not be the parent node. The parent node should just be a neutral node that you can easily move. So where if you move it to this place, anywhere you move it, that will be where that particular one is spawning from. So it's the same code, but then we just had to use a range to be able to change the range at which each and every one of it comes up. So let me go into the other spawner here, which is actually the treasure spawner. So the treasure is like a sort of thing that if you actually look at the beginning of the game, you see where I'm making of the character to be able to pick up a particular thing that keeps on energizing it, bringing up the energy each time. So if you look at here, same thing, ready, while loop, it's going infinite as long as it's always there. It's going to also change. So I made it in such a way that it's unpredictable. That's how you get the randomness of the game. So it's more interesting because this is actually an endless runner. So you don't want the same thing to be happening again and again. It will get boring. So you need to spice things up. You need things to be a bit different. So I have the delay, I instantiate the same thing, add child. So let me just show you around this particular place. Yeah, so if you look at it, I have a dome around here, and the bridge passes over to this place. All of them will be coming, and before this one finishes, the other one will spawn a new one. So and then you have some lights and that I have put here, and then the bridge, this door called the portal, is actually a scene on its own too. So it's just like what blocks this place so that you will not be seeing when these things are spawning. You will just see them passing through the door and they are coming in. It looks kind of magical. So I created this dome inside using AI too. So if you want to know how I did that, you also put that in the comments and I'll make a video on that particular one. So the treasure here, the same thing, just like the bridge. If you go into the code, I have a thing moving towards the player continuously, so that's minus this, so it's axis. And then I made it to whenever the treasure body deletes deleter event, whenever it touches that deleter area object, is going to also delete it too. So that's how you delete the treasure. So in case you miss the treasure, it also deletes once it touches that object there. So it's keeps on cleaning off extra spawned objects in the scene, so it doesn't begin to lag. So you have the treasure enter event. So treasure event is used to capture when the treasure touches the player. So whenever the treasure touches the player, it's going to check it. That's the branch here, and it says that value, it gets a value, adds 5 to it, and then says that value. So when it says that value, that's what you'll be seeing on the screen. So set playing, this is my audios. I have different audios that I did for when you touch a character, maybe for winning or for losing. If the enemy touches you, there is a sound that it's shows. If you actually look at it here, let me click on that. So I have this, the background sound, and this one is the collect sound. Look at it there. So I just had to use this plane. You just drag it out and it will set the plane here. That's how you get that. So you have the set plane, and then we'll have the set visible. So this set visible now is what I use in deleting or making the thing invisible. So whenever you touch it, that particular treasure becomes invisible. So we'll have here set emitter. So that's what we use in emitting the particle. So that one is a different tutorial altogether. So also another thing you have to pay attention to the treasure here is that I animated it too. So I have animation and I animated it, so it keeps on animating as it's coming. So it's not just static. So if you go to the demon's call itself, so let me just go to demon's call. You see, I also animated that, so it's not going to be static as it's coming, it's going to move. So I have here on skull body entered. So whenever the skull body, the player touches it, if anything touches it, it's going to be checking it. And if it's the player, now this player group, in case you don't know how it's done, it's something you just do by selecting the player. Look at the main player here and go into your node, the group, and you just click and create a group. Okay, and so you see the player is set here as group player. So that's how he's able to actually capture this particular thing. So right now we'll have the branch. He's going to check it, and when he checks it and it is sure, he's going to just go ahead to set the value. Look at here, the value here is the value of and then we'll have here the label here. So this is the value of the progress bar. So I use a progress bar for this, and this is the value I'm talking about here. That's what is affected when the demon's call is being touched. If you look at that as a set value here, it says the value of the energy level of the player down. So this one is demon, it says it will minus 5 from it. That's it, to keep on depleting the life, while the treasure itself will be the thing that is increasing. You see, it's plus, it will increase the value. Other things I did to make this scene look quite nice is if you go to the wall settings, I actually use the HDR image for the lighting here. So if you click it, you see my panorama sky. So that's what I did here. So if you look at that, it's coming from outside. So it helped to actually boost the light in the scene. So, and also I had to use the background lights and energy multipliers, and also the ambient lights, to be able to make things look very nice. And then also turned on my glow. Okay, if you actually turn up the glow, this is going to look a bit more different. You have the 2D part of it. So this is the energy. I designed this using Inkscape. So you have the progress bar, and then I have just a design here, still like a sprite under it too. So I have this this one is being updated each time. Is actually a timer that I use to be able to keep on increasing the time each time. You keep on running. As you keep on running, it keeps on counting and increasing continuously. So the code we use in doing that, so if you come in here to the UI, you have the process here, and then we'll have the get value. So now look at this idea now. So it's going to, this branch here is going to check when it's equal to 0. If it's equal to 0, it's going to set visible. It says visible the game over screen. So if you click here, you see it over there. It says over the game over screen visible, and then sets the value of the text to whatever is the life. Okay, so the life is actually if you open up your other panel, so you see that you have a variable called life. So this variable called life is what is being increased each time. You just keep on increasing as you keep on running. So the more you run, it keeps on increasing with time. So this one is for the what sets the value of the game over screen. So whenever the game over screen comes up, this guy sets the value. It just increases 1, because I noticed that it doesn't update on time. So I had to add 1 so that it updates before even displays. This one is experience. I will teach you this one. So I have this, and then it says the pause. So this here now, it will pause. So I use this to be able to create a pause for my game. So whenever I'm playing the game, and your your life, your life finishes. Okay, so if it's equal to 0, it will just pause the entire game and give you a game over. Then if you click play again, it will set your life again to 20. So this is how the game over screen displays the high score. Down here, you don't have the timer itself. So this is the timer. So I use a timer here. You can actually go into the UI. You see that I have a timer down there. So I had to connect this timer. If you go to node, you can see on signal the timer here. So the timer has a while loop, okay, and the while loop keeps on running, okay. So but this is not very necessary. I think I have to optimize this code. So but you can use it this way. It's going to check whether the scene is paused. So if it is paused, then it's going to do something. Okay, this is countdown pause. So if it is actually paused, it's going to check whether it's paused. If it's true, it's going to pause your countdown. So this is what I use in pausing my countdown, and this is what I use in making my countdown to keep on going. Okay, countdown increasing. So let me explain the countdown increasing first. So it delays for 1 second. It sets the life, this variable life, to the new value of it. Gets the value, the current value of life, and then adds 1 to it, and then sets the value to the new, whatever it is, and then sets the text. The text is this thing here. That's what it is. So it sets the text to whatever the value of the new life. So we're just passing like a variable, the value of the variable, we're increasing it here, and then setting to this. So, but then if you now pause the game, I'm going to show you how I pause the game. So if you now pause the game, it will delay for 1 second, and then it will set the life, okay, and get life here. It will just plus 0 to it, like it will stop adding to it. So that's how I paused it. So it's like an illusion pausing. The game is meant to still be playing, but it's not more adding anything. So that's how you create the illusion of pausing. So it will set the value to this. So it's still playing, but then it's just pausing the game. That's the solution. I believe that there are better ways to do this, but that's the solution I was able to use for this particular code here, for me to be able to pause the timer, because I noticed that whenever I pause the timer keeps on going because I use the while loop. Okay, so but then I use this to be able to get it and then add 0 to it, and then set it to the variable, and then use that to pause it so that it's not increasing any longer. But once if you play the game again, it begins to also increase. So then there's the pause. For you to pause the game, okay, so I have a couple of things here. The first thing I have here, so when a project starts, when you press the cancel, that's the escape key on the keyboard, it is meant to be a desktop game, it will just set pause for all the scenes. So all the things that are possible, it will just pause them, and then set the pause screen visible. So I have an overlay that I created for pause, so just like a transparent overlay, so something like this. So if you look at here, if you open it up, you see that there's a pause there. So it has some buttons that I have actually put on it. So if you click on it, you actually see that's it, to set it visible. So but then on play again, if you click on the button play again, so I have about 2 buttons, continue and wait. That's continue is the play again button. So if you click on that, it will set the pause to negative. So before it was positive, it was checked, now it's unchecked for the scene, and then the pause screen to become invisible. So then if you press quit, it will actually quit the game. So that's your quit, it will just quit the entire game. So we'll have the play again, and then also the quit for the game over. So if you look at here, you have the game over here that I've used. So when you play again, it disables the pause when you click on play again, and then it says it's invisible, and then says the value of the energy, that's the progress bar, to 20, so that you can, because once the progress bar is 0, it's going to, the life is going to go off. I designed in such a way that it's not going to be giving you 100%, it's going to give you just 20%, and you have to survive. So to make it more difficult, and then you set the life also to 0. So that's, whenever you restart again, it starts the entire countdown from 0 again. So when you quit it, when you click on the quit button, it actually also quits it. The core screen was created video stream player, and I had to add a video of my core screen video. It's OGV. I have a tutorial on how you can be able to create video core screens using the video stream player. So I have things you can skip. There's a button there for skipping the core screen if you don't want to watch it. So you have it here, and you have the thing here. So the code for it, I just did it in such a fashion that you just have on screen. Whenever it finishes, it changes the screen to the next. That's the main game. That's the main screen. That's, you know, if you allow the entire game, the video to finish. Once it finishes, it will just start the game automatically. But if you don't want that, you can click on skip, and it will still change to the main screen. And also you have the physics process here. So if you click on escape, I also put it in such a way that if you press escape on your keyboard here, it will also change the screen to the main. So these are, so I have my story. So if you look at here, you have the start game. So that's where you can go back home to the start game. So if you look at the story here, you see you have the back home press button, and then you can be able to change this to the start. You go back to the start game code or the start game scene. So for the start game, that's the first part of the game. So you have a couple of things. So the first one is ready and set playing. That's the music that plays at the beginning of the game. You know, when you start the game, the screen that you see. So that's the screen. This screen was designed using Blender. So that's the splash screen here. It was designed using Blender. So you have all those things here. So we have if you go over here, you can see the code. So one is ready, it starts playing the sound. When you click on play, it will change to your cut screen. So that's the next thing I put there. You just change your cut screen. So if you don't want a cut screen, you can always remove it. Then if you click on credits, because I have several buttons. If you look, I have about 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons there. So if you click on credits, it will go into the credits, show you the person. So you can also use that for your credits for the people that actually did the job. Then you have on quit, it will quit the game. And you have on story press, so it will change to the story scene. So, and then the same thing with the credits here. So you have the credits, you can always look at the credits there, and you have back home, so you can go back to the start. So the virtual joystick is an add-on. If you actually go into your asset lib, you can be able to get that. I think I've done a video. You can go to my channel, you can see a video on how to add a joystick there. And by default, you already have these controls by default. So you see that I don't have anything here. So you go into your plugins, I use my phantom camera and the virtual joystick. You can also see a tutorial for phantom camera, how to be able to put that on. Phantom camera is what I use here. If you look at when the player is when you're actually moving, when the player is going to one side or another, the camera doesn't follow it automatically. It follows it smoothly, or slowly. So I have the phantom camera, that's what I use, and also the virtual joystick I use in case you want to put that into your mobile phone, if you want to do that. So if you do this, you can send it to me on my channel, or you tag me and let me see what you have done with this. So if you come up here, you see that you have if you actually go to the code, you actually see this thing. I have a tutorial on this, so you can do that there. So if you click on that, that's actually code, but you're not writing any code here. You're just going to import this particular thing here. So if you look at the player, let me just go into the player code. You see that the player has UI left, UI right, UI up, okay? And these things work very well with this particular one. That's how it was programmed. So by default, the thing is already working. So you just add it and it's already working. You don't have to even do any coding or any other special process. And the sounds also, I actually use AI to generate the music I use for the gameplay itself. So if you want to know how I did all these things, just put that in the comments and I'm going to make a tutorial to teach that. So I hope this video was very helpful, and the idea of the Godot engine being able to create full games is something that I'm working towards, so that there will be a mass adoption. So if you actually go to my description, you can read, my goal, and support me in every way that you can, because this represents a lot of work. I have spent almost more than 6 months working on this particular project, and those who have been following me on my channel and also on social media will be able to see that I've been working on this for very long time. So make sure you support me in every way you can. Subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share my videos, recommend it, and also support and donate to my itch.io account, and also on my Sela. You can show me love. So if you have any particular question on how I did a particular thing inside this game, you can actually go ahead to ask me. These are various ways you can be able to show that you appreciate this work. So if it really means something to you, that's the way you can be able to show that. But I intend to be able to keep on doing this work as much as possible, so I can be able to help those who want to learn how to create content like this, to be able to achieve that. So I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to be doing something much more interesting, and I hope to see you there.